First of all, I sort of hope that happens, because then people like me would go in and buy. You know, if you're in a good cash position, which I'm in a good cash position today, then people like me would go in and buy like crazy. If there is a bubble burst, as they call it, you know, you can make a lot of money. At the same time, I don't think that'll happen, because if interest rates stay fairly low, if the dollar stays pretty much where it is or even goes a little bit higher, but basically if you have a weak dollar, there's just tremendous amounts of money pouring in. So I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not a believer that the interest market, that the real estate market is going to take a big hit.
Donald Trump speaking with CNN back in 2006 about the housing bubble. That's something that opposition groups have researched, so the comment has resurfaced, and it's something that Hillary Clinton is using on the campaign trail. Hillary told a crowd in California today that Trump wanted to take advantage of the American people to make some money for himself. But in a statement issued tonight, paraphrasing from the Trump campaign, that Donald said, yep, he was a businessman. He looks for ways to turn a profit, does so unapologetically, and it's that kind of thinking we need in Washington to deal with the fiscal matters there. Let's continue now as we welcome back via Skype from Southern California, Michael Reagan, author of the new bestseller, Lessons My Father Taught Me, The Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan. As we mentioned, it's a #1 Amazon bestseller and reveals some of the things that you may not have heard before. It's been featured in the Wall Street Journal. As always, you can find and follow Michael on Twitter at Reagan World. Before we talk about the book, Michael, lady's been holding on for a long time. Want to get to her. Her call coming in tonight from Ivins, Utah. We've got Jenny on the line. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, how are you?
Doing fine, thanks.
Hey, I think Trump will do great once he gets in there. He's a little mouthy. I'm hoping that he tones it down a little bit and gets to the, shows everybody that he does have it in him to do it, and gets down to the issues. And, like, for instance, why, we need to control immigration, not just because you don't like, Hispanics or Muslims. There's reasons that are important, for our livelihood and our safety. But I think he'll do great. I hope, I'd like to see him, beat up on Hillary only once in a while, not constantly. So, there's time to throw the jabs into her, but I think there's a lot of important things that we can be talking about right now.
And there are plenty of things to talk about. You shared them with us, Jenny. Michael, you heard Jenny's comment, and we thank her for it. She said Trump's a little mouthy, but it's worked thus far. Can it work for the general?
But I think she's right. You can hit on Hillary on occasions, but people want to hear about the issues and what you're going to do to really, truly fix the economy. About that statement Donald Trump had, I think Hillary completely missed it. I mean, she went after him because she just took everything out of context. But if you put it in context, he was dead wrong. I mean, the housing market actually did crash. It just pummeled and what have you. So, I hope he does, if he becomes president, his soothsayer is better than that, because it did crumble.
Michael, let me talk to you about this book, because you and I had a chance to talk about putting it together, writing it, some of your family memories, but I'm interested in your reaction to the reaction the book has been getting. What are you hearing from folks?
Oh, no, I hear a good thing. I mean, the book was written to humanize my father. You knew him, so many other people, just knew him as President Reagan. Winning the Cold War, bringing down the Berlin Wall. These things just don't happen in a vacuum. It takes a special person to do that, and what I wanted to do was introduce you to that special person, that guy who I called Dad. You called Mr. President, you called Governor, I called him Dad. When my wife and I got married, and my dad became President of the United States a few years later, Cohen said to my dad, "What do I call you now?" And my dad just looked at her and said, "You call me Dad." I mean, that's who he was to us. And so I wanted to bring that forth in the book and tell some of the stories, rides out to the ranch, the singing of every military song on the planet, the Air Force, the Army, the Navy, Coast Guard, all of them. I mean, he was a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout and what have you.
And one heck of a lifeguard, too, growing up back there. Really very impressive guy. Hey, somebody wants to talk to us about your dad, Michael. Let's go to Brooke, checking in from Lisbon, Ohio. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, JD. How are you doing?
Doing
Hi,
great.
Michael.
Hi.
I'm just so honored to be able to speak to both of you, and I'm so thankful for Newsmax and that you allow the voice of the people to be heard. And I'm a little nervous, though.
Oh, you're doing great, Brooke. Just take a deep breath and go right ahead. You're fine.
Okay. Michael, I just want to say that your dad, Ronald Reagan, was the most awesome president of our time in all of history. He was an American hero, and he was a hero to all of us. He was a protector of this country, and he was an amazing negotiator on behalf of this country. He was an amazing unifier. He brought such stability to this country that we haven't known since he's been president. And he protected our liberty and our freedom, and he is a protector of truth, and he stood on our Constitution. And several times I've gone back and I've listened to different times your dad was speaking, and it just made me cry. And I know if he was here right now, Michael, I'm just asking you to reach out to Donald Trump. We need somebody that's going to bring this country back and keep us free and preserve our liberty and our freedom. And I thank you so much for your book. I can't wait to get it. And thank you for having me on here. Thank you.
Brooke, thank you. And you hear the emotion in her voice, remembering your dad.
You know I travel all over the world. I just got back from Normandy, France. We dedicated the Ronald Reagan Center at Normandy, France that my foundation, Reagan Legacy Foundation, helped build. You hear that? It doesn't matter. French, German, American. I mean, I wake up every morning and say, you know, there are some tough times. You know, it's not easy being green, being the son or daughter of somebody that iconic and that famous. But my God, I'm glad I'm not Jimmy Carter's kid.
You know, it's one thing, though, when we heard Brooke, even with her heartfelt memories of your dad, she was making an appeal to you, saying, Michael, you're gonna listen to Trump. You know, I mean, well, you heard what she had to say.
JD,
Still 45 seconds. Your take again, just to nail this down, Michael, where you are.
JD, my phone has always been open to anybody who's running for president. I have offered to give them any ideas that they would like to hear from me after 50 years of being by my dad when he ran for office at no charge. But I'm not going to allow people to use my father's name to feather their own bed. And they're going to have to want me for my knowledge, not just because my last name is Reagan. And if somebody like that calls me, wants to be involved, if Donald Trump calls, my phone's available.
And we are so glad you had your Skype line open tonight from Southern California. Michael Reagan, author of the book, Lessons My Father Taught Me, The Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan, a #1 Amazon bestseller. Well, we very much appreciate the chance to visit with Michael. We appreciate your comments. You've been calling in tonight, but there's another way where you can send us your comments. You can send them to us when you get in front of your computer, newsmaxtv.com/comments. Also on Twitter, where our handle is @Newsmax Prime. That'll do it for tonight. Until tomorrow evening, stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.